VGK erupts for 5 third-period goals as everyone gets into the act in a 7-2 win over the Predators, the Golden Knights notching their 7th straight win. More ahead on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone from Las Vegas, Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik. Welcome to the Locked On Golden Knights podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcasting network. I'm a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. And Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports, and also the host of the Hockey News Collectibles Show. Now, coming up ahead on today's show, VGK with a blowout win over leg-weary Nashville. VGK looks for its 8th victory in a row against the Flyers on Monday, and our locks, props, and chants for today's game. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get into the action this NFL postseason at FanDuel.com. And don't forget to watch us each and every day on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Tune in at 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. SSSEN is the place to be on YouTube TV or Cox Cable Channel 77. So, Chris, you're a betting man. How much would a parlay pay you if you had some action last night? If you had Alexander Holtz, Cole Reinhardt, and Keegan Kolesar all scoring goals? They all contributed, and VGK had a 5-goal outburst in the third period. The Predators scored first on a seeing eye goal, and then the Golden Knights went on this tear. This was a game in which Nashville simply ran out of gas after the Preds beat Colorado on the road the night before, handing the Avs their first regulation loss.
Yeah, I mean, you sent me a good text last night thinking the Preds were hoping to achieve a split on this trip, and they got the game they probably didn't think they were going to get, and, you know, they would have, who knows how things would have shaken out against the Golden Knights, obviously, before the game started. Now we know. How much would that parlay have paid? I don't think a sportsbook has the cojones to have all of those players out there for a possible goal, because that's the type of parlay that absolutely would drain so many of the pools for the sports books. Interesting stat here I'm looking at as I got the event sheet up here. It shows all the shift times and everything. 3 players, Philip Forsberg, Luke Evangelista, and Ryan O'Reilly, they were a +1. Every other skater, so that's 15 other skaters, was a -1 or worse. I don't know if I've ever seen that in my life on a stat sheet.
What was the worst? Was there someone a -6?
No, a lot of -3 balls out there. A lot of -3s out there. Eric Holla, there you go. There's one. Michael Bunting, trash can Michael Bunting, and then Steven Stamkos were a -3.
VGK scoring 7 unanswered in the game. Holtz, Shea Theodore, Dorofeev, Mark Stone, Reinhardt, Mitch Marner, Kolesar, all scoring in this onslaught. And Akira Schmid, we've got to talk about him. He had a goalie assist on the Marner Tater, where Marner steals the puck.
Marner Tater? What's a Marner Tater?
A tater, a goal. I'll just make something up. Let's go.
Who calls it a tater?
I don't know. Like in home,
I mean,
in
listen,
baseball,
a
home run is a
Rob
tater.
Stone created the ham bone reference out of thin air, which is 4 strikes in a row.
A home run.
Maybe you got tater. Maybe something new was born on
A home run is a tater in baseball sometimes, right? In baseball parlance.
This is a hockey podcast.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the play of Akira Schmid. He's got to be the #1 goaltender, right? 15 wins now on the season.
I mean, listen, and you saw the reporters definitely keep looking for some sound bites about Akira Schmid after the game as well. 15-4-5, 245, 897 goals against. 897, that's not the number that you want out of your #1 goalie. So a concern about the goaltending as a whole, I guess. Schmid 897, Carter Hart 871, Lindbaum 873, Aiden Hill 872. If the nature of the argument is Schmid the best goalie right now, absolutely. He's played 25 games of the 47 Golden Knight games. I think it was E-Runs. I mean, he put a stat out there about Schmid and the number of points that he has been on the ice for this Golden Knights team. I think it was in the mid 50s or something like that. So, I mean, yeah, Schmid's the man right now, but at least on the stat sheet. But this is still Aiden Hill's net, and the Golden Knights are going to work him back in. I'm surprised Aiden didn't get the start last night, but they are going slowly with Aiden, which is fine. I mean, you got the Flyers coming up tonight. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see what kind of a threat the Flyers are. They're having troubles of their own right now. So hopefully that's a good confidence, fatigue, morale, all sorts of boosters for Aiden Hill tonight.
Mark Stone extended his point streak to 11 games. He's got 10 goals, 8 assists, 18 total points in that span. He had a tater last night, and I did text you after Thursday's game, and I said Stone was looking like he was ready for his scheduled LTIR visit. He looked like he's ready to break down. I forgot. That's how he always looks, but he's getting the job done.
Stone's a machine, and listen, we're not beating up Stone. He's not the best skater. He'd be the first one to tell you that, but Stone gets in the right places. Stone does the right thing. Stone does the right thing on the bench, and he's doing the right things on the ice, which he always does. And now he's just simply getting rewarded for it. Him and Eichel are in an absolute, another universe right now. And you look at dynamic scoring duos in this league, at least at this juncture with how hot those two are, they're right up there with what McDavid and Draisaitl are doing. McDavid, obviously, on another planet altogether. He's pacing for about 180 points, it feels like right now. But what Jack and Mark Stone are doing right now, it's absolutely incredible to watch. And, you mentioned an possible LTIR stint. Hopefully that does not happen because this team certainly needs those two healthy if they wish to go on a deep run.
And speaking of all those elite players, in the second period, Alexander Holtz ties up the game with a shot from the point off of McCarron, off of that player. And I thought he should have been the number one star, a goal and an assist in that game. We also had the Shea Theodore goal. Let's talk about this.
That was a beautiful goal.
And the ensuing skirmish between Michael Bunting and Braden Bowman. They both went off for coincidentals. Bunting felt that he was interfered with. They both got called for penalties. And after the refs break up the skirmish, Bauman joins the celebration for Theo.
That was so
which
good.
was pretty funny, right? And the refs, they should have allowed Nick Hague and Jeremy Lauzon. State Run says they should have allowed them to go. State Run says they each got a couple of shots in on each other. What were you watching last night? Because all I saw was Hague holding him by the collar and then hitting him with some jabs in the jaw. It was a physical game, physical. Jonathan Marchessault, checked by Lauzon into the Predators bench, swings his stick at Lauzon, but he swings and misses. He returns for the first time since December.
Marchessault's been swinging and missing it a lot since going to Nashville. Geez, where to go there? Mike Bunting is a trash can. I said that twice now on the show. You don't attack someone like it's not that Bowman went right to Bunting and gave him the ha 4-year-old celebration, what kids do after they score a goal. Bowman was skating over to Theodore to celebrate, and Bunting just goes for a cross check right there. And it's just after a goal is scored, unwritten rule, you don't do that. That's just like I said, Mike Bunting's a trash can. I don't know how else to say it. And yeah, the Hague Lauzon skirmish, it wasn't a skirmish. Hague had him, and at first they were trying to make it like it was up and back, and then Gary Lawless was chirping, wanted a penalty called on Hague because he
oh
hit him
my
4 times.
God,
He didn't hit him 4 times.
I heard Lawless booing Hague too from
he
upstairs.
face washed him a couple of times. It's a little skirmish, whatever.
Yeah,
I think Bunting should have got an extra for that. You want to take 2, fine, but
let him go.
when you or just call Bunting and don't call anyone else. A or B would have been a better option right there. You start something like that after the whistle, it's just something that shouldn't happen. If there's anything just real fast here as we're getting to the end of the segment, number one, you just want to see this team get a better starts. Preds score the first goal, and it's like, oh man, you're watching this game wondering how it's going to go, and then obviously the end is the end. But there's one thing just to nitpick a little bit lately, it's that. But good 7-game winning streak for the Golden Knights. Good to see the process getting better. And yeah, they're playing not great teams really, besides the Leafs, who are an okay team, but it's been a lot of not great teams. But point being is, I don't care if you play the Leafs 7 times in a row, the Sharks 7 times in a row, or the Flames 7 times in a row. It's hard to win 7 games, end of story. So full credit for the Golden Knights for what they've accomplished, and hopefully it's an 8-pack.
And of course, we saw Mitch Marner. He blocks Roman Josi, gets the breakout, feeds it to Pavel Dorofeev for his 20th goal of the season in a 2-on-1. And Jack Eichel with that can opener penalty. And then he comes out of the box, races ahead, ran right past Jonathan Marchessault, gets it to Stone. And Stone now scoring points in 11 consecutive games. Big dub for VGK. Coming up next, the Golden Knights play a Martin Luther King holiday game at home against the Flyers. Our preview comes your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs, which have been fantastic. You get an opportunity, customers do, to get even more ways to get into the action. Right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel uses a profit boost pack that's waiting for you right inside of the app. Each game day, you will see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets that you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. The boost let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you are backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets that you already like instead of forcing you to bet on something new. You make your picks, you apply them to your profit boost, and you go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs are rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack for each and every NFL playoff game day. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Gawlik from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone. Everyone celebrates Martin Luther King Day, or you should be, for sure. And, of course, the I Have a Dream speech resonates on this day. Each and every one of us should think about helping each other out, really, truly. So the Flyers, they need some help. They enter Monday's game against the Golden Knights. They are just 4 points out of a wild card spot. Philadelphia in 5th place in the Metropolitan Division. So on Saturday, I watched some of this Flyers-Rangers game, and the Flyers, they were beaten so many times, Chris, on breakouts in transition. And Mika Zibanejad had a hat trick, 6-3 New York won. Travis Konechny scored first, then 6 straight Rangers goals. That sounds a little bit familiar, kind of parallels with the VGK game. And it won't be a good matchup here if VGK gets numbers on the odd man rush.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to give, right? Golden Knights 7-game winning streak, Flyers 6-game losing streak. You mentioned the Preds game might have been the letdown game, the momentum killer and everything. I think the Golden Knights Flyers game Monday night, that's the possible letdown game. Do I think the Golden Knights lose this game? I'll stop short of saying that, but that's the game to be careful with, where the Flyers could come out and possibly, I don't know, stun the Golden Knights is the word, but if they're not ready on time, all of a sudden you're chasing another game, and at some points that dam will break, and the Golden Knights do go on the road after this. And then, on the road, Boston, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. So hopefully they are not looking past this game by any means, but just looking at the Flyers game log here, seems like just games get away from them, right, Tony? Games just will get away from them. And you saw what the Golden Knights can do, and the other team lets their foot off the gas a little bit. So if the Flyers don't come in full throttle, so to speak, this could be an ugly game for the Flyers as well.
And the Flyers are having some goaltending issues. So I watched that game, as I mentioned, on Saturday, and Alexei Kolesar was pulled for Samuel Ersson after Kolesar gives up 3 goals on 3 shots. And Dan Vladar has played in 28 games, but he's out. He's injured. Has a 16-7-4 record, 2.46, 905 save percentage, but they are definitely missing him between the pipes. I think that's one of the biggest issues right now.
Looking at this team, right? I mean, Dvorak centers Konechny and Zegras. Couturier centers Owen Tippett and Grimbecken. Noah Cates centers Denver Barkey and Mishkov. Mishkov, let's just kind of start
Where's
the
he at?
discussion.
Where's he at in gold? I forgot to look up Mishkov's
Yeah, no,
number.
Mishkov, someone, I mean, 10 and 14 right now. 10 and 14. He's a -6, 24 points. But Mishkov was, I believe, the number 2 overall pick. Ducks draft him, Flyers situation, they make a trade, whatever, however, all that shakes out.
Right.
And Mishkov very famously has been on the record for not liking dumping and chasing, battling in the corners, just not adapting to the North American game here. And you do wonder how long he's even going to last in the NHL before he might want to go back to the KHL or something like that. But I mean, he likes the money here, I guess, so maybe he'll stay for a little bit longer. But Mishkov, someone who was looked at as a possible franchise player, has been a little better than a third line plug.
And I wanted to point out there was a big injury in that game on Saturday. Rodrigo Abels checked hard into the boards. The Latvian player did not return. I don't expect to see him. Lower body injury. It's a very scary injury as they had to help him off the ice. Scored a goal in the loss to the Penguins last week, but not sure of what his status might be. And this is a team that does not have the luxury of a lot of depth. They have
No,
not
that's
a
their
lot of
fourth.
depth. That's one of the biggest issues too.
Yeah, that's their fourth line center with Carl Grundstrom and Garnet Hathaway. You know, I mean, whatever there. The defense, Sanheim, Cam York, Nick Seeler, Jamie Drysdale, Emil Andre, and Noah Hulison. I mean, this team just, there's not a lot here. And what Rick Tocchet went there to kind of rebuild things, and they made the big move with Trevor Zegras. And that's, I mean, Zegras finally
Leading
gets out
scorer,
of Anaheim.
19 leading scorer, 19 goals, 44 points.
25, that's what I was grabbing too here. Konechny, 41 points. Then you got Owen Tippett, 29, Dvorak, 29, Couturier, 25. Couturier's getting up there. He's got to be in his mid-30s. Noah Cates, Mishkov, Travis Sanheim, Bobby Brink. I mean, this team just on paper, like, what direction are they going? They make the move for Trevor Zegras. You got Mishkov developing, but after that, like, what's happening? Tyson Forster, unfortunate injury for him. I think he had a season ender. He had 10 goals in the first 21 games of the season. So he was pacing for, you know, a 30-ish to 40 goal campaign, depending on how things shook out. So a lot of questions in Philly, but I'll say it again. This is the game that could sneak up on the Golden Knights. At some point, something's got to give. At some point, the Golden Knights got to lose. At some point, the Flyers got to win. The hope it's not Monday at T-Mobile Arena. But if the Golden Knights don't start on time, and if you give a losing team a little bit of hope, you never know how that's going to shake out. So it's a good test for the Golden Knights in a game should win. They should win very similar to what they did to the Nashville Preds, maybe a little more flatter game. Maybe they get a better start. But the Golden Knights haven't started well lately. If there's one knock on this team, it's the Golden Knights starts. So
Yeah, but
hot
it was part of their plan to turn up the juice there later in the game because they knew Nashville had an emotional win the night before. I'll argue on that point in that one.
typical back end of a back-to-back where the
Right.
team starts okay and gets tired too.
Oh my gosh, they got tired real fast, and
They stopped skating. It was bad. Bad
was
game,
bad.
bad coaching, bad everything on the Pred side last night.
So you did put out a tweet over the weekend about perhaps Artemi Panarin, the yeast of the East, I call him. I don't know. I just made something up. And then, of course, Rasmussen is still out there as of our post time here and the time that we're broadcasting this. Do you think there's a chance?
Yes.
Obviously, I've been on Rasmus Andersson, right? I've been on him forever since the trade deadline last season. Of course, all summer we talked about him. Any chance? Is there a chance?
Any chance that happens? There's a huge chance that happens, Tony. Boston seems to have, this is all Elliot Friedman's putting this out there, but
with no salary cap here in Vegas, there
no
is
salary
always a
cap.
chance.
Well, they got the room right now, especially if William Karlsson is done for the year. That's an easy one to fit, and that's assuming the Flames don't retain, depending on what the trade package is. Very interesting.
I wonder if Charlie played his last game as a Golden Knight. Go ahead.
I mean, I think he might have. We'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll have time during the Olympic break to hit that. But very interesting how Anderson was getting an extended moment on the ice at the end of the game, high-fiving the teammates and everything. It's not like the Flames are going on a road trip.
No.
Flames are home Monday against the against the Devils, and then
He's
I mean they're in the
constantly.
middle of a 4-game homestand. So we'll see why he was kind of having that extra moment with his teammates. But Boston seems to have the trade proposal, but Anderson doesn't want to sign his extension in Boston. Obviously, Anderson wants to come to either Vegas, Dallas, or Vegas and Dallas, even Colorado, I've heard mentions right now. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to where he's willing to sign an extension before any trade comes together. And Vegas, preferred destination.
Coming up next, locks, props, and chants for Monday's holiday affair. Stay with us on Locked On Golden Knights. If you have ever hired someone who looked good on paper but wasn't the right fit, you know how important that is. When you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed's sponsored jobs. That's right. If you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your post at the top of the page and help you to reach the right candidates faster. And if you need to hire someone for this show, perhaps, you would go straight to Indeed and be very specific about what you need, real experience, not just resume buzzwords, which drive me up a wall. Sponsored job boost. Again, this is something that helps your post, gets your post to the people who are the best match for your role, and it makes a real difference. Listeners of this show, Locked On Tahoe Night Monsters, is that today's show? Locked On Golden Knights. Again, you get this $75 sponsored job credit. It helps you to give your job the premium placement that it deserves at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just again, go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying that you heard about it on Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you're hiring, do it the right way with Indeed. Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Gawlik. Thanks for tuning in today to Locked On Golden Knights, and please make sure to subscribe and follow us to get the latest episodes. If you have not already, please check out our new Everydayer Club, access to an ad-free audio feed, invitation to members-only Discord, and a members-only Locked On merch store. Check it out today by going to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. And don't forget, you can catch us each and every day, of course, speaking of everydayers, on SSSEN, their Fox 5 daily, their sister channel, Cox Cable Channel 77, YouTube TV, 1 o'clock each day. And great to see all of the entire, I don't know who was reporting the news on Friday night, because every single anchor, reporter, they were ran into everyone coming out of the Nikki Glazer, David Spade show there at Caesars. That was a lot of fun, and it was good to see everyone. I was like, hey, who's minding the store, right? So let's talk about our locks, props, chants. And to me, when you talk about this game against Philadelphia, I have to point out again, too many odd man rushes by the Rangers on Saturday. And was this a tired team? Every team's playing back-to-back, and they're playing 3 games in 4 nights. This is so condensed, this schedule, because of the because of the Olympics. And I feel VGK can break out against the Flyers and do so in the transition game. We saw what Jackie Pockets did, for instance, coming out of the penalty box. Goaltending for the Flyers, shaky with Dan Vladar out. VGK should be able to handle business.
What world are we living in when you say shaky with Dan Vladar out? Says no one ever. That's insane. But keep going. I'm sorry to cut
And I
you
want to
off.
continue here because my next line should be in our Hall of Fame. Alexander Holtz is on a 1-game heater. He had a tater. I'm not gonna take him. Well, no, let me take him. I'm not taking Holtz, but I will take Ivan Barbashev, Mr. Milk Carton. He's gone 11 games without a goal, and I'm going to go with him again. I will go with Ivan the Great, the terrible Barbashev. Last goal against Colorado, December the 27th. I will go with Riley Smith, 5-2 Golden Knights. I feel that they can beat this Flyers team. Take it away.
I wrote down Barbashev also. I just think it's a closer game. I just think that the Golden Knights have had a hard time starting lately, and I said everything in the second segment. I think the Golden Knights do get by this game, but I'm gonna go 5-4 in overtime. And I wrote down Stone and Barbashev. Like I said, just something at some point has to give, but the Golden Knights don't have to be at their best by any means to win this game. And frankly, it's probably better if they're not at their best to win the game. Save their better performances, for the road coming up. That's not an easy road trip, no matter whether Golden Knights enter on a 8-game winning streak or a no game winning
They
streak.
won't be on a win streak. They have a scheduled loss at Toronto coming up.
We'll see about this. What you said that earlier in the week, Tony. How'd that work out for you? But you did mention Holtz, and it is important to acknowledge the Golden Knights have
One-game
back-to-back
heater.
games.
One-game
Well,
heater.
and Kolesar's on a 2-game heater, but back-to-back games, you get goals out of some complementary scoring. Kolesar against the Leafs, and then I don't care about Kolesar's goal against the Preds, but Holtz scores the first goal against the Preds to get the game going. It's a weird place. I mean, Ashley Weiss, great interview at intermission. She's joking, hey, right from the point, right as you scripted it, right? And Holtz got a good laugh, and Holtz is laser focused watching his goal replay because he doesn't get to watch a lot of goal replays while he's doing the interview. It was a good moment right there. And like I said, depth scoring. If the goalies do get some depth scoring, then we definitely got something to talk about with this team.
And some depth for VGK. Dylan Coughlin called up for depth purposes in case there is an injury, or more so in case there is a Rasmussen trade.
It's column A and column B. They're getting ready just in case. And also, Coach Cassie did reference that HSK is on the road, so you do the call up now, so you got the player available. Versus if HSK was home, you don't need to do the call up.
So, complementary scoring. Who steps it up now? Do you think we finally see a breakout by Cole Reinhardt? I like Reinhardt, the player.
Not someone like that who's going to get 9 minutes a game, but I mean, Kolesar prime opportunity here. He's got a little confidence. He's got goals in back-to-back games. He's on that third line role with Tomas Hertl, who's finding ways to impact every single game he plays lately. So Kolesar is the one who could break out, and that would be amazing if it happened.
Thanks again for tuning in today to Lockdown Golden Knights. Make sure you subscribe and follow us. You get all the latest episodes. I don't want to sprint to the finish for once. If you haven't already, please check out our new Everydayer Club, access to an ad-free audio feed, invitation to members-only Discord, and a members-only Locked On merch store. Thanks for tuning in. Check us out, lockdownpodcast.com/everydayer. For Chris Gawlik, I'm Tony Cardasco. We'll see you Tuesday right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.
Seconds spare. At bedtime. Come on.